There's a lighthouse on the Atlantic coast where the same souls keep finding each other, lifetime after lifetime, love after love, drowning after drowning. Elena thought she came to write. Marcus thought he came to keep the light. But the ocean knew better. Some patterns are meant to be broken, some vigils are meant to end, and some loves are meant to finally live. When Stars Remember, a small novel by Jan H. Medina.
Chapter 1. The Lighthouse Keeper. The lighthouse stood like a prayer against the Atlantic sky. Elena arrived on the first day of autumn, when the world turns bronze and everything feels like an ending. Her car coughed to a stop at the edge of the gravel lot. Salt air. Crying gulls. The crash of waves against rocks that had been standing since before Rome fell. She'd come here to forget. Isn't that what everyone does? Run to the edge of the world when the center stops holding? The lighthouse keeper's cottage sat squat and weathered beside the tower. White paint peeling like old skin. Windows that caught the afternoon light and threw it back at her, bold and defiant. She didn't expect him. He emerged from the cottage carrying a basket of driftwood. Tall. He was lean in a way that suggested solitude rather than frequenting gyms. The wind swept through her dark hair. Eyes that. Elena stopped breathing. No. She knew those eyes. "You're the writer," he said. It was a statement, not a question. His voice carried the rasp of someone who doesn't speak often. Who's grown used to silence. Yes. The words felt clumsy. Elena Reyes. I rented the cottage for the season. He set the basket down. Studied her with an intensity that made her skin electric. Made her remember things she'd promised to forget. "Marcus," he said. "I maintain the lighthouse. Keep the cottage stocked." A pause. "Try not to be in your way." But the way he looked at her. Like recognition. It felt as if he was bringing her back to a familiar place. She'd felt such feelings before. She had experienced this in a previous life. Her dreams left her breathless. "Have we?" she started. Stopped. Shook her head. "Never mind. It's been a long drive." Marcus nodded slowly. Didn't move. The space between them hummed with something neither could name. "The cottage is ready," he said finally. "Fresh linens. Firewood stacked. There's a storm coming tonight. You'll want to close the shutters." "Thank you." He turned to go. Stopped. Looked back. Elena? Her name in his mouth felt ancient. Sacred. "Yes?" "Welcome home." The words landed like stones in still water. She watched him walk toward the lighthouse tower. She continued to watch until he disappeared through the red door at the base of the lighthouse tower. Only then did she breathe again. Only then did she notice. Her hands were shaking. The cottage smelled of cedar and old books. One room with a fireplace. A kitchen alcove. A bed pushed against the window where she could fall asleep to the rhythm of waves. Perfect. She unpacked slowly. Set her laptop on the scarred wooden table. Arranged her notebooks. Her pens. These were the essential tools of her profession. She'd come here to write. She had come here to finish the novel that had been tormenting her for 3 years. The story is about souls that find each other across lifetimes. Elena froze. On the mantel. There was a photograph in a tarnished silver frame. She lifted it with trembling hands. A woman. The woman was positioned next to the lighthouse. The woman's dress suggested that she was from the 1940s. Dark hair pulled back. The woman's eyes stared directly into the camera. Eyes like Elena's own. The woman's face. Identical. "No," Elena whispered. "No, the truth isn't." Thunder rolled across the sky. The first drops of rain hit the windows like questions. She set the photograph down. Backed away. Her rational mind screamed explanations. Coincidence. Similar features. Tricks of old photography. The lighthouse beam swept across her window. Once. Twice. The rhythm resembled the pounding of a heartbeat. Like memory. Elena sank into the chair by the fire. Pulled her knees to her chest. Outside, the storm arrived in earnest, wind howling, rain slashing, the world reduced to fury and darkness. But the lighthouse kept turning. Kept its vigil. And somewhere in the tower, Marcus stood watch. This man she'd never met who felt like coming home. This stranger whose eyes held recognition. This keeper of light who'd called her back to a place she'd never been. Elena reached for her notebook. Opened to a blank page. The words came before thought. I've been here before. I've lived here before. I've died here before. Her hand moved faster. The story poured out like a confession. Like prayer. In 1942, a woman and a lighthouse keeper shared a special moment. A love that bloomed in wartime. A German U-boat spotted in the fog. A choice between duty and desire. A light that had to keep burning even when the heart stopped. The pen slipped from her fingers. She knew this story. She'd been living this story for 3 years. Stuck on page 200. Unable to write the ending because she didn't know how it ended. Because some part of her knew she'd lived it. And died before the final chapter. Thunder cracked directly overhead. The cottage lights flickered. Died. In the darkness, only the lighthouse beam remained. Sweeping. Searching. Finding her window. Elena stood. She made her way to the window. Pressed her palm against the cold pane. And saw him. Marcus in the lighthouse tower. Silhouetted against the magnificent lamp. Standing exactly where he must have stood 1,000 times before. Exactly where he'd stood when I watched from this window. When I waited for him to come back from the rocks. When the storm took him and the light nearly went out and I had to choose. No. She pulled back. I'm losing it. Stress. Exhaustion. The drive. But her reflection in the dark glass said otherwise. Her eyes said otherwise. The photograph on the mantel said otherwise. And the lighthouse. The lighthouse remembered everything. She didn't sleep. At dawn, the storm passed. The world emerged scrubbed and gleaming. Elena made coffee with shaking hands. Watched the sun paint the horizon in colors that hurt. A knock echoed through the door. Marcus. He stood on her threshold holding a thermos and a paper bag. His hair was damp. Dark circles under his eyes matched the ones under her own. Thought you might need breakfast, he said. The storm knocked out your power. It won't be back until this afternoon. Thank you. She took the offering. Their fingers brushed. Lightning. They both jerked back. Sorry, he muttered. Static from the storm. Liar. They both knew it was more. Marcus. Her voice came out smaller than intended. The photograph. He was standing on the mantel. Who is she? His jaw tightened. Her name was Catherine. She kept the cottage during the war. She looks like you. He said it flatly. Undeniable. I know. Silence stretched between them. The silence was heavy with unsaid things. There are stories, Marcus continued slowly. About this place. About keepers and there. He stopped. Shook his head. Local legends. Nothing more. Tell me. His eyes met hers. His eyes were as grey as storm water. His gaze was so profound that it was almost overwhelming. They say some loves are older than memory. Souls make promises that the body eventually forgets. That lighthouses remember, he cut himself off. It's foolish. Tell me anyway. The lighthouse beam swept past, invisible in daylight but somehow present. Always present. Catherine loved the keeper, Marcus said quietly. During the war. They were engaged. Then one night, a ship in distress. He went out on the rocks. Never came back. A pause. She kept the light burning for him. Every night. For 40 years. Until the day she died. Elena's chest constricted. How did you? The records. The lighthouse logs. She wrote in them. Every single day. He looked away. I've read them all. Why? Because, his voice cracked. Because I feel like I know her. Like I was there. Like I failed. He stopped. Rubbed his face. I sound insane. No, Elena whispered. You sound like me. Their eyes locked. In that moment, the world tilted. In that moment, they both remembered. Not facts. Not names. But feelings. The shape of a hand in theirs. The sound of laughter in the tower. The taste of salt and promise. The terrible choice. The eternal waiting. I've been writing about you, Elena breathed. For 3 years. A story I couldn't finish. About a woman and a keeper and a love that transcends death, Marcus finished. Thunder rumbled. Impossible. The sky was clear. But the lighthouse knew. The lighthouse always knew. And standing there, this man and this woman who'd just met but had loved for lifetimes, they felt the weight of every yesterday pressing into now. Coffee? Elena asked. Her voice was shaking. Her hands were shaking. Everything is shaking. Marcus nodded. They went inside. And the lighthouse beam turned. And the story. The story was just beginning to remember itself. Chapter 2, The Logs. Elena's fingers trembled as she poured the coffee. Marcus sat at her table, at Catherine's table, like he belonged there. Like he'd sat there before in some other skin. Some other life. The morning light through the window made him almost translucent. Almost like a ghost learning to be solid again. You've read the logs, Elena said. Not a question. Everyone. He wrapped his hands around the mug. Large hands. Scarred from rope and weather. Started when I took the position 5 years ago. Meant to just familiarize myself with the lighthouse history. But her entries, Catherine's, they felt. He searched for words. Personal. Like she was writing to someone. To me. Elena sat across from him. The table between them felt like an ocean. Like inches. Show me. Something shifted in his expression. Relief, maybe. That he wasn't alone in this madness. They're in the tower, he said. The original books. Locked in a cabinet in the keeper's quarters. You live there? Someone has to. The lighthouse is still active. Still saves lives. A ghost of a smile. Even in the age of GPS. When can I see them? Now, if you want. He met her eyes. But Elena, once you read them, you can't unread them. Can't unknow. I already know, she whispered. I just don't remember. The truth of it hung in the air. Marcus stood. Come on, then. The tide's low. We can walk the rocks. The lighthouse tower rose like a cathedral. Red brick worn by a century of salt wind. Iron railings spiraling up and up. The great lamp at the peak, dormant now in daylight but somehow watchful. Always watchful. Marcus unlocked the door at the base. Watch your step. The stairs are steep. Inside smelled of oil and metal and time. They climbed in silence. Round and round. Elena's legs burned, but she couldn't stop. Each step felt like approaching something sacred. Something she'd been running toward her whole life without knowing. The keeper's quarters were at the top, just below the lamp room. A small space. Efficient. A cot. A desk. A wood stove. windows that looked out at infinity. I don't always sleep here, Marcus said, reading her thoughts. I have a house in town. But sometimes you need to be close to the light. Yes. He went to a locked cabinet, drew out a key from a chain around his neck. The lock clicked open. Inside, ledgers, dozens of them, leather-bound, spanning decades. Marcus pulled out 3, set them on the desk with a reverence usually reserved for holy texts. These are hers, he said. 1942 to 1944. The years that, he stopped. Just read. Elena opened the first ledger. Catherine's handwriting was delicate, precise. Each entry is dated and timed. March 15, 1942, 6 p.m., light ignited. Weather clear, sea calm. E. came by with supplies. Asked about J. Again. I told her soon. She doesn't understand, he has to finish his duty first. Then we'll marry. Then forever begins. Elena's breath caught. March 20, 1942, 8:30 p.m., storm warning. Light burning steady. J. helped me secure the shutters. His hands were cold. I made him tea. We talked about the house we'll build down the coast. About children. About growing old watching this light together. He kissed me by the lamp. Said I'm his lighthouse. His true north. I told him he's my home. The words blurred. Elena flipped forward. Faster. April 2, 1942, 11 p.m., distress signal. Ship foundering on the rocks. J. went out. Made me promise to keep the light burning no matter what. I promised. He kissed my forehead. Said, see you soon, Catherine. Those were his last words. April 3, 1942, 3 a.m., still burning. J. hasn't returned. The Coast Guard found wreckage. Found bodies. Not his. Not yet. April 3, 1942, 6 a.m., light still burning. I will not let it go out. If the light dies, he can't find his way home. Oh God, Elena whispered. Marcus stood at the window. His back was to her. Shoulders rigid. She kept reading. Page after page. Year after year. Catherine's vigil was recorded in ink that never faded. December 25, 1942, midnight, light burning. Alone for Christmas. But not really alone. J. is in the light. In every beam that sweeps the dark. I feel him. I swear I do. June 14, 1943, dawn. Sometimes I think I'm mad. Talking to the light. Waiting for a man who drowned. But then I remember, love doesn't die just because the body does. Love is the light. Always was. September 3, 1944, sunset. E. says I should leave. That this vigil is killing me. She doesn't understand. Leaving would be the death. Staying is the only life I have left. As long as the light burns, he burns. As long as I remember, he lives. The entries stopped in 1945. Elena looked up. What happened? She collapsed, Marcus said quietly. In the lamp room. They found her with her hand on the lens. The light was burning. He turned. His eyes were wet. She survived. But they forced her to retire. Moved her to a care facility inland. Did she? The light went out for the first time in 3 years. She died that night. His voice broke. The exact hour the lamp went dark. Silence filled the tower. The kind of silence that comes after revelation. After worlds end and begin. Marcus. Elena stood on shaking legs. These entries. I've written them. Different names. Different details. But the same story. The same. Love, he finished. The same love. They stared at each other across the small room. And the lighthouse. The lighthouse held its breath. I dream about you, Marcus said suddenly. Desperately. Every night for 5 years. I dream I'm drowning and you're the light. I dream I'm keeping this lamp burning for you. I dream, his voice cracked. I dream of a woman I've never met who looks exactly like you, and I wake up crying because I failed her. Elena crossed to him, her body moving before thought. I dream of watching you leave, she whispered. Of standing in this tower. Of keeping a promise that breaks me. Of waiting, tears spilled. Of waiting lifetimes for you to come back. Marcus raised his hand. Hesitated. She took it. Pressed it to her cheek. The touch. Supernova. They both gasped. Memories flooded. Not clear. Not linear. Just feelings. His arms around her in a storm. Her laughter in this tower. A kiss by the great lamp. A promise whispered. A light burning. The cold Atlantic. The terrible waiting. The refusal to let go. We've done this before, Elena breathed. Again and again, Marcus agreed. How many times? I don't know. But I remember, not with my head. With my soul. She pulled back. Looked up at him. This man she'd met yesterday. This soul she'd loved for centuries. What do we do? She asked. I don't know, he said honestly. The story never ends well. Every time, separation. Death. Waiting. Maybe, her voice strengthened. Maybe that's because we never got to the real ending. Maybe we keep coming back until we do. Hope flickered in his expression. The dangerous hope. Beautiful hope. The novel, Elena said suddenly. The one I can't finish. I'm stuck at the moment of choice. When Catherine has to decide, let the light die and search for him, or keep burning and let him go. What choice did she make? She chose the light. Elena's throat tightened. But I think that was wrong. I think that's why we're still here. Still repeating. You think she should have let it go out? I think, Elena grabbed his other hand. Held both. I think the light was never the point. We are the light. Love is the light. And maybe we keep burning alone when we should be burning together. Marcus stared at her. The truth of it is settling. Reshaping everything. So what? He said slowly. We try again? We find the ending? We find the ending, Elena confirmed, not apart. Not waiting. Together. The lamp room above them hummed. As if in agreement. As if the lighthouse itself were nodding. Yes. Finally. Yes. Marcus pulled her close. Their foreheads touched. I'm terrified, he admitted. Me too. But I've loved you too long to lose you again. Then don't, Elena whispered. This time, don't let go. This time, he promised, I won't. And in the tower where Catherine had waited 40 years, in the light that had guided countless ships home, two souls made a different vow. Not to wait. But to live. Together. Finally. Chapter 3, The Storm. 3 weeks passed like a held breath. Elena moved through her days in a state of controlled wonder. Writing in the mornings, the novel flowing now, words pouring like they'd been dammed for years. Afternoons with Marcus, walking the rocks, sharing meals, and learning the rhythms of the lighthouse. Learning from each other. Again. Because it was again. They both felt it. Every touch sparked recognition. Every conversation carried echoes of 100 others. In this life. In lives before. Tell me something I don't know, Elena said one evening. They sat on the rocks below the lighthouse. Sunset painting the sky in colors that hurt to look at. Beautiful devastation. Marcus smiled. You take your coffee with too much sugar. You hum when you write. You're afraid of seagulls. They're aggressive. And you talk in your sleep. She turned to him. How do you know that? His smile faded. Because I remember. Not from now on. From. He gestured vaguely. Before. What do I say? You say my name. His voice went quiet. Different names. But always me. You say don't go and come back and I'm still here. Elena's chest tightened. Do you? She asked. Remember me sleeping? I remember everything. Marcus looked out at the Atlantic. I remember you in a blue dress dancing in the lamp room. I remember you laughing at my terrible cooking. I remember, he stopped. Swallowed hard. I remember drowning. Every time. I remember the cold. The dark. And the light, your light, getting smaller. Marcus. But I also remember coming back. He turned to her. Not in body. But in something. I remember finding you. Watching you keep the vigil. Trying to tell you it's okay, you can let go, but you never do. Tears streamed down Elena's face. Because I can't, she whispered. Because letting go feels like letting you die. Really die. Forever die. But I don't, Marcus said gently. I come back. We always come back. We find each other. Then why? Her voice broke. Why does it keep hurting? He pulled her close. She fit against him like she was made for exactly that space. Because we never get it right, he said into her hair. We love. We lose. We wait. But we never, he pulled back to look at her. We never just live. The choice, Elena said. The one Catherine made. Duty over love. Light over life. Every time, Marcus agreed. Some version of it. You are choosing to wait. Me choosing to go. Neither of us choosing us. The waves crashed against the rocks. Eternal. Relentless. Not this time, Elena said fiercely. This time we choose different. How? She didn't have an answer. Not yet. But the universe. The universe was listening. The storm came on a Tuesday. No warning, just sudden pressure and darkening sky and that electric taste that means run. Elena was in the cottage writing when the first crack of thunder shook the walls. Her laptop screen flickered. The lights died. Outside, chaos. Wind screaming. Rain horizontal. The world reduced to fury. And the lighthouse. The lighthouse beam swept on. Steady. Certain. She grabbed her jacket. Stumbled outside into the maelstrom. Had to get to Marcus. Had to. Don't leave me. Not again. Not this time. The rocks were slick. Treacherous. Waves crashed over them, trying to pull her in. The Atlantic is hungry and patient and remembering. The tower door was locked. Marcus. She pounded. Marcus. No answer. The lamp room. He'd be in the lamp room. She ran around to the seaward side, and stopped. A boat. Small fishing vessel. Listing is hard. Running lights are barely visible through the rain. Foundering. No. No, 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 no. The tower door flew open. Marcus emerged in a rain slicker. Face grim. He had rope. A radio. There's a boat, Elena started. I know. I saw. Coast Guard is 15 minutes out. He was already moving toward the rocks. Toward the violent surf. Elena grabbed his arm. Don't. He looked at her. And in his eyes. Every lifetime. Every choice. Every ending that ended in loss. I have to, he said. You'll die. If I don't go, they'll die. Then I'm coming with you. Elena. Don't you dare. Her voice cut through the wind. Don't you dare leave me watching again. Don't you dare make me wait. Thunder exploded overhead. The boat's lights flickered. Dimmed. Marcus closed his eyes. The choice. The same choice. The one that always broke them. There's a third option, Elena said suddenly. Desperately. He opened his eyes. "We go together," she said. "We bring them in together. We face it together. You could die. I've died 100 times watching you leave." She gripped him harder. "The waiting kills me. The light kills me. Letting you go kills me." The boat listed further. Seconds mattered. Marcus looked at the lighthouse. At the beam cutting through darkness. At Catherine's vigil, light was made. Then back at Elena. This woman. This soul. This love transcended flesh and time. "Together," he said. "Together." They ran. The water was ice, the current is vicious. Elena tied the rope around her waist. Marcus checked the knot with hands that knew this dance. Had done this dance. Had died in this dance. "Stay close," he shouted. They waded in. The surf tried to tear them apart immediately. Waves like mountains falling. Salt in her mouth, her lungs, her eyes. But Marcus's hand in hers. Solid. Real. Not leaving. Not this time. They swam. Fought. The rope connecting them to shore was their only lifeline. The boat was closer than it looked. 3 people are visible. Clinging to the rail. Terrified. "We're coming," Marcus yelled. "Hold on." A wave took Elena under. The world went dark and cold and familiar. This is where I lose him. This is the moment. The choice. The separation. But then. His hand. Finding hers in the black. Pulling her up. Into air. Into light. Together. They reached the boat. Marcus grabbed the first person, a young, hysterical woman. Passed her to Elena. "Get her to shore," he commanded. "Not without you. I'm right behind you." The rope pulled taut. Elena kicked hard, the woman clinging to her. The current fought. The Atlantic wanted them. But the lighthouse beam swept over. Again. Again. A rhythm. A heartbeat. Keep going. Keep fighting. You're almost home. Elena's feet hit sand. Hands pulled her up. The woman. She turned. Marcus was in the water. Swimming back. Getting the next person. No. Elena started forward. Arms held her. "You'll both die. Then we die together." But Marcus was already coming back. A man this time. Older. Bleeding. They pulled him ashore. "One more." Marcus gasped. "Kid. Maybe 12. I'll go." Elena. Together. They dove back in. Side by side. The boy was trapped. Foot caught in rigging. The boat is sinking faster now. Marcus went under. Elena felt the rope jerk. Seconds stretched. She couldn't breathe, couldn't think, and could only feel the terror. Not again. Not again. I can't lose him again. He surfaced. The boy in his arms. Go. They swam. The boat's mast snapped. The vessel rolled. The ocean claimed it. But they were clear. Kicking hard. Together. The lighthouse beam guided them. Catherine's light. Their light. The light that never died because love doesn't die, it just waits. And this time no one was waiting alone. They collapsed on the beach. The Coast Guard arrived. Took the survivors. Wrapped Marcus and Elena in silver blankets that crinkled and did nothing against the bone-deep cold. But they were alive. Both alive. Together. The storm passed as quickly as it came. The sky broke open, stars emerging like they'd been there all along, just hidden. Marcus pulled Elena close. "We did it," he breathed. "We did it differently," she corrected. "I didn't leave you, you came back." "We came back." He kissed her forehead. Her cheeks. Her lips. Together. And the lighthouse. The lighthouse beam swept on. But something had shifted. The vigil was ending. The waiting was over. That night, in the tower, Elena read the last entry in Catherine's log. February 18, 1945, midnight. I understand now. The light was never meant to bring him back. The light was meant to show me the truth, that love doesn't end. It transforms. He's not in the ocean. He's not in the past. He's in every sunrise. Every kind act. Every soul that finds its way home. I kept the light burning because I couldn't let go. But letting go isn't loss. It's trust. It's faith. It's knowing that what we had doesn't die, it becomes something new. Something that helps others find their way. I'm ready now. Ready to let the light be light. To let him be free. To let myself be free. Until we meet again, and we will meet again, I'll carry the light inside. Where it belongs. Where it was always meant to be. Elena closed the book. Looked at Marcus. She understood, Elena whispered. At the end. But she was alone, Marcus said. Yes. Elena took his hand. But we're not. The lighthouse turned. And for the first time in 100 years. The vigil keeper smiled. Chapter 4, The Light Within. Morning came soft. Elena woke in Marcus's arms, in the keeper's quarters, in the narrow cot that smelled of him and salt and thyme. The lighthouse was quiet. Below, the ocean breathed. In. Out. Eternal rhythms. She traced the scar on his shoulder. A crescent moon. He'd had it in every lifetime, he'd said. Some mark the soul carried over. You're staring, he murmured. Eyes still closed. I'm memorizing. You already know me. I'm memorizing anyway. She kissed the scar. Just in case. His eyes opened. Grey and clear and home. No more just in case, he said. We're done with that. Are we? He rolled to face her. The cot is too small. Perfect. We changed the story, Marcus said. We made a different choice. We came back together. So what now? The question hung between them. Because this was the part they'd never reached. The after. The living. I don't know, Marcus admitted. The patterns, they're so deep. I'm terrified we'll slip back. That the ocean will call and I'll go. That you'll wait. That we'll break again, Elena finished. Yes. She sat up. Pulled her knees to her chest. The blanket fell around her shoulders. Then we have to break the pattern completely, she said. Not just the action. The why behind it. The duty, Marcus said slowly. The obligation. I always go because I have to. Because it's the right thing. And I wait because I think that's love. Sacrifice. Keeping the light burning while you're gone. Elena turned to him. But what if the real love is refusing to let go? Is saying I'm coming with you or don't go or choosing us over duty, Marcus finished. Is that selfish? I don't know. He sat up beside her. But I know the other way, it's killed us. Over and over. The lamp above them hummed. Dormant but present. Always present. Catherine wrote that the light belongs inside, Elena said. Not in the tower. In us. What does that mean? She thought about it. The words she'd written. The story she'd been living. It means, we don't need this place anymore. We don't need the lighthouse to keep us together. We don't need the vigil. She grabbed his hand. We are the light. Our love is the light. And light doesn't stand still. It moves. Marcus stared at her. Then started laughing. Deep. Genuine. The sound of chains breaking. What? Elena demanded. We've been haunting ourselves, he said. Coming back to this lighthouse. This story. Thinking we have to get it right here. But But maybe here is the problem, Elena breathed. Maybe we're supposed to leave. The words landed like a revelation. Like a key in a lock. Like a door opening. Leave the lighthouse, Marcus said slowly. Testing the words. Leave the vigil. Leave the pattern, choose life over duty. Choose us over everything. They looked at each other. Two souls standing at the edge of something unprecedented. I'm scared, Elena admitted. Me too. What if it doesn't work? What if it does? She kissed him. Soft. Sweet. A promise in the shape of lips. Let's find out, she whispered. They spent the day planning. Marcus had savings. Elena could write anywhere. They'd rent a small apartment in the city, Portland, maybe. Somewhere with coffee shops and bookstores and absolutely no lighthouses. I'll need to resign, Marcus said. Give the board notice. They'll need a new keeper. When? End of the season. 2 months. Elena nodded. 2 months to close this chapter. To really, truly leave. They walked the property that afternoon. Saying goodbye to familiar rocks. To the cottage where Catherine waited. To the tower that held so many lifetimes. Do you think she'll understand? Elena asked. Catherine? Marcus looked up at the lighthouse. The red brick glowing in the afternoon sun. I think she'd tell you to run, he said. I think she'd say she waited so we wouldn't have to. Tears pricked Elena's eyes. Thank you, she whispered to the ghost. To the woman in the photograph. To the soul that kept burning so they could finally be free. Thank you for showing us the way. The wind picked up. Gentle. Like a hand on her shoulder. Like a blessing. They walked back to the cottage. Made dinner. Simple pasta. Red wine. Candles because of the romance of it. Because they could. Because they were alive and together and choosing it. Read me what you wrote today, Marcus said. Elena grabbed her notebook. Read aloud. The story was almost finished now. The lighthouse keeper and the woman. The love that transcended death. But the ending. The ending was different. In her version, when the boat foundered, they went together. Saved the crew together. Came back together. And then. They left. Walked away from the lighthouse. From the duty. From the pattern. Chose each other. Choose life. It's perfect, Marcus said when she finished. It's terrifying. All the best things are. That night, they made love in the cottage. Slow. Reverent. A conversation in touch and breath and the small sounds of coming home. Afterward, Elena lay with her head on his chest. His heartbeat was steady beneath her ear. Marcus? Promise me something. Anything. If the ocean calls, if duty calls, if the pattern tries to pull you back. I'll say no, he finished. I'll choose you. And if I try to wait, if I start to sacrifice, I'll pull you with me, he said. Into living. Into choosing us. Promise. Promise. They fell asleep tangled together. And the lighthouse turned above them. But its hold was loosening. The story was changing. The light was moving inward. Where it belonged. Where it always belonged. The next morning, Elena woke alone. For a terrible moment, panic. He left. The pattern pulled him back. I'm waiting again. But then she smelled coffee. Heard humming. Marcus in the cottage kitchen. Making breakfast. Staying. She breathed again. Morning, he said when she emerged. Kissed her temple. Handed her a mug. Morning. They ate on the porch. Watched the sun paint the Atlantic in gold. I'm going into town today, Marcus said. To file the resignation paperwork. Talk to the board. Elena's stomach clenched. This is really happening. Okay, she said. Come with me? Really? Really? He smiled. New pattern, remember. Together. So they drove into town together. Small coastal village. Weathered buildings. Fishing boats. People who knew the sea and respected it and didn't ask questions. The Lighthouse board met in a building that smelled of old wood and older decisions. Marcus introduced Elena. They stared. You look just like, one of them started. I know, Elena said. Catherine. Silence. We've seen the photographs, Marcus said. Read the logs. We know the story. The board members exchanged glances. It's a local legend, one finally said. The lighthouse keeper and his love. Some say they're still here. Still keeping the vigil. They are, Marcus said. But they're ready to move on now. More silence. Then the eldest member, a woman with hair like snow, smiled. About time, she said. Catherine waited long enough. They accepted his resignation. Effective end of season. 2 months. Walking out, Elena felt lighter. Like gravity had loosened its grip. That's it, she said. We just leave. We just leave, Marcus confirmed. She stopped in the street. Looked at him. This man who'd drowned for her. Who she'd waited lifetimes for. I love you, she said. Simple. True. I love you, he answered. In this life. In the next. In all of them. But this one especially. This one especially. They kissed in the sunlight. And somewhere Catherine smiled. The vigil was ending. The light was finally coming home. Chapter 5, The Horizon. The last night in the lighthouse arrived like an exhale. 2 months had passed in a blur of packing and planning and learning to live without waiting. Marcus had trained his replacement, a young woman with serious eyes who took the responsibility like a vow. The light matters, she said. The light always matters, Marcus agreed. But you matter more. Don't forget that. Elena watched from the doorway. Pride swelling. He learned. We learned. The cottage was empty now. Their things are packed in the car. The photograph of Catherine carefully wrapped, they'd bring it with them. A reminder. A blessing. One last walk? Marcus asked. They climbed to the lamp room as sunset painted the world gold and rose. The great light waited. Massive. Powerful. The lens is like a jeweled eye. It's beautiful, Elena whispered. It is. They stood in the space where Catherine had waited. Where Marcus had kept watch through centuries. Where their souls had circled and circled looking for the way out. Thank you, Elena said to the lighthouse. To the light. To the pattern that held them until they were strong enough to break free. Marcus took her hand. Ready? He asked. Scared, she admitted. Me too. But ready. They watched the sun descend. The horizon is eating it slowly. The world turning from gold to purple to that particular blue that only exists at dusk. What do you think happens next? Elena asked. In the story. After they leave. Marcus smiled. They live. That's it. That's everything. He pulled her close. They wake up together. They fight about stupid things. They make breakfast. They work. They laugh. They grow old. He kissed her hair. They just live. Together. No waiting. No sacrifice. Just life. Sounds perfect. Sounds terrifying. All the best things are, Elena quoted back at him. The light ignited. It's the first rotation of the night. The beam sweeping out across the Atlantic. Over waves that had claimed Marcus 100 times. Over rocks where Elena waited. But not tonight. Tonight they'd walk down together. Get in the car together. Drive into a future they'd never dared imagine. I wrote the last chapter, Elena said suddenly. Of the novel? Yes. She pulled the pages from her pocket. Want to hear? Always. So there, in the lamp room, as the light turned above them, Elena read. The lighthouse keeper and the writer stood in the beam one last time. They'd saved the crew. They'd broken the pattern. They'd chosen each other over every obligation that tried to pull them apart. Now, they were leaving. The lighthouse would go on. Other keepers would tend it. Other souls would find their way home by its light. But these two, they were done waiting. Where should we go? She asked. Anywhere, he said. Everywhere. Nowhere important. Just together. Just together. They walked down the spiral stairs hand in hand. Stepped out into the night. The car waited. Behind them, the lighthouse turned. Its beam sweeps the dark. Steady. Eternal. Beautiful. But they didn't look back. They'd been light for long enough. Now, they would live. Elena's voice caught on the last word. Marcus was crying. She was crying. The light turned above them. It's perfect, Marcus whispered. It's ours. He cupped her face. No more waiting? No more waiting. No more sacrifice? No more sacrifice. Just us. Living. Together. Together, Elena confirmed. They kissed in the beam. The light passing through them. Around them. Catherine's vigil. Their freedom. Then they walked down the stairs. Every step deliberate. Chosen. At the bottom, Marcus locked the door. Handed the key to the new keeper. She's yours now, he said. I'll take care of her, the woman promised. I know you will. They walked to the car. The lighthouse beam swept over them one last time. Goodbye. Thank you. Be free. Elena got in the passenger seat. Marcus is in the driver's seat. The engine started. Where to? He asked. Elena smiled. Reached for his hand. Anywhere that's not here, she said. Everywhere that's forward. Nowhere that's haunted. Sounds perfect. They drove away. The lighthouse was growing smaller in the rearview mirror. The light is still turning. Still guiding. But no longer holding them. 6 months later, Elena sat in a Portland coffee shop. Her novel was finished. Published. Out in the world. When Stars Remember, a love story about souls that find each other across time. About patterns that break. About choosing life over duty. It was doing well. People wrote her saying it made them cry. Made them brave. Made them choose love over fear. Marcus worked at a maritime museum now. Teaching kids about navigation. About the ocean. About respecting the sea but not fearing it. They had a small apartment. A cat named Beacon. A life that was beautifully, perfectly ordinary. No lighthouse. No vigil. No waiting. Just living. Elena sipped her coffee. Watched the rain streak the windows. Her phone buzzed. A text from Marcus, coming home early. Want to make that pasta you love? Wine. Candles. Maybe dance in the kitchen? She smiled. Typed back, perfect. I love you. Love you more. Impossible. Watch me prove it. She laughed. Put the phone down. And realized. For the first time in 100 lifetimes. She wasn't waiting for anything. She wasn't keeping vigil. She wasn't choosing duty over desire. She was just. Here. Now. Alive. The bell above the coffee shop door chimed. Marcus walked in. The rain had soaked his hair. Cheeks flushed. Couldn't wait, he said. Wanted to walk you home. You're soaked. Don't care. He kissed her. Right there. In front of everyone. And Elena kissed back. No hesitation. No fear. Just love. The kind that doesn't wait. The kind that chooses. The kind that lives. They walked home together. Umbrellas forgotten. The rain fell like a blessing. That night, they danced in their tiny kitchen. Made pasta. Drank wine. They found amusement in Beacon's pursuit of shadows. And when they fell asleep, they tangled together. No lighthouse beam swept their window. No ocean called. There was no discernible pattern to follow. Just two souls. Finally, beautifully, free. Somewhere, in a lighthouse on the Atlantic coast, a beam turns through the night. Steady. Eternal. Guiding souls home. But the keeper is new now. The vigil is hers. And Catherine finally rests. The waiting is over. The light lives on. But it lives in the world now. The story revolves around two souls who chose love over duty. This was a tale that ultimately reached its conclusion. In the simple, radical act of living together. The end. Author's note: for everyone who's ever waited. For everyone who's ever chosen duty over desire. For everyone who thinks love means sacrifice. This is your permission: choose life. Choose together. Choose now. The lighthouse will keep turning. But you don't have to wait anymore.
The pale light on the water's face is somber, soft, expansive grace. My deepest thoughts begin to roam, far from the comfort of my home. Lost in the silent, faded blue, a lonely moment passing through, by the ocean's shifting edge, where old memories softly lie, a quiet, hopeful pledge underneath the open sky. A haunting, distant sound now calls through the thick and misty walls, where silent currents gently turn, a hidden lesson I must learn. This longing deep within my soul, it strives to finally make me whole. It echoes like a soft refrain, a comfort in the falling rain, a sound I yearn to finally find, leaving all my fears behind. The ocean's rhythmic, soft embrace, a timeless feeling, time and space. The gentle breathing, deep and slow, reflects where restless feelings go. Footprints on the wet sand disappear, washed away year after year, carried on the cooling breeze, whispers through the lonely trees, seeking an unseen guiding hand, lost across the sea and land. A haunting, distant sound now calls through the thick and misty walls, where silent currents gently turn, a hidden lesson I must learn. This longing deep within my soul, it strives to finally make me whole. It echoes like a soft refrain, a comfort in the falling rain, a sound I yearn to finally find, leaving all my fears behind. If I could send a message true across the somber, misty hue, to touch the tender, softest grace and find a welcoming embrace, to break this quiet solitude that wraps around my inner mood, a silent story I must share, reaching out through vacant air, a connection to hold on to tight, guiding me towards the light. A haunting, distant sound now calls through the thick and misty walls, where silent currents gently turn. A hidden lesson I must learn. This longing deep within my soul, it strives to finally make me whole. It echoes like a soft refrain, a comfort in the falling rain, a sound I yearn to finally find, leaving all my fears behind.